Well, good afternoon, guys. Due to some network issues in the campus, I'm unable to get logged in. Which we had sent you the link, but I'm myself as a host. I'm not able to connect to that link. So, pretty sorry for that. That's why this session video is going to be made. Will be made. So, in the second module, we were dealing with certain aspects of project. So far, what we have dealt up with is project. What do we understand by project report, and what are the objectives of project report? Then we have understood the contents of project report. We have understood about the project. What do we understand by project formulation, and the objectives behind project formulation. Then we have seen a couple of institutions who help financially and technically to the small industries and tiny industries. Those are your Karnataka Industrial Estate Development Board, and we have taken one more is to be TechSOC, Technological Consultancy Services for Center for Karnataka. So we have discussed the functions also. We have discussed the objectives and also we have taken up district industrial centers as a main part of study. So few more aspects of the second part are remaining. Like for example, how do we decide on the starting up of a small scale industry? What are the requirements to start the small scale industry? Most often asked in your paper, either as a common, overall question for 10 mark, like explain the procedure for starting up a small scale industry. You are supposed to write 5 points which we are going to mention in this video. Or sometimes they'll ask you what is the procedure to setting up for the location of the business. So we'll be talking in general, and the notes thing, what I'll be doing is I'll be sending you the clear details of notes, because this topic, if I go and dig deep in the videos, it might not be that much as aspect. So what are the requirements for starting up a small organization or small scale industry? There are 5 basic points. So first point is location of small scale industry or location for small scale industry. Second, clearances and permit. Clearances and permit. Third, formalities. Fourth, licensing. Fifth, registration procedure. And sixth, feasibility of the project. There are 6 steps which are going to be required to make a startup of small scale. One is location for small scale industry, clearances and permit. Then third comes out to be formality. Fourth comes out to be licensing. Fifth comes out to be your registration procedure. And sixth out to be feasibility of the product or the project. So when we talk about the location of small scale industry as the first point, it depends on what kind of business, what kind of service people are starting. So for example, if you are starting up a service sector, the service sector's location needs to be convenient to the customers, shouldn't be far from the customer's point. The products which are available at that particular thing should be readily available, quickly available. It shouldn't be delayed. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be making the customer think for purchasing because of loss of time, loss of important time of the customer. So it is very important that you choose a location where there is customer's expectation. Something like how do the usually business evaluate their locations? Market. Now, majority of the easiest way to pick up a small organization or small scale industry and establish your output there is in the market area, because there's no one, or there's hardly a minute percentage also where people see people not going to markets. So indirectly, intentionally, unintentionally, programmed, non-programmed, we end up watching or might be observing that company or that setup, because market is a huge place and people tend to shop. So intentional without intentions, people might come across this shop, this factory, this product. You never know. So one, decide where the competition is huge or whether the competition you require is lesser. You need to decide whether you want more competition to be seen with you or you want to say less competition with you. That is also needs to be checked out when you are picking up location. See that if your market is customer expected, see that you put it in a busiest place, and see that if it's unique also put it in business place. But if it's not, kindly put it in those areas where there is population, so that people see your product, visualize your product, observe your product, observe your business. Where there are suppliers, also select a place where there are suppliers available to you. Shouldn't be like you don't have any you don't have suppliers and you need to go far away to fetch your suppliers. Shouldn't be like that, because your product will be done, your product will be ready only when your raw materials are being reached to you on time at one place. Labor, also see that find a place where your labor is easily available, freely available and conveniently available. Do not where the labor charges you more for traveling. It shouldn't be the case. Select that location where there is convenient number of resources available to you. Cost is also important. Select that location where your cost factor is being taken into consideration. Shouldn't be too high for you people to run. So location of business, you need to understand these few aspects. One is market, one is competition, one is supplier, one is cost, one is your labor. Okay. Next we come to your permissions required. The permissions and clearances required. Now few registrations are required. Registration under Sales Tax Act, that is required for commercial tax and all. Now the overall scenario has changed of bringing one tax, one thing. Right. So these are 5 important points. I was telling you about the clearances and the permit part, right? So permit and clearances are required, such as like for the tax purpose, you need to take registration, then payment of income tax, then registration of partnership deed. If your business is coming under the partnership aspect, so you need to take the partnership deed from the Inspector General of your area. So that you need to consider. Then calibration of weights and measures. So what will be the product's weight and what kind of product it is, and all those things will be taken care by, and you need to take the permission from the inspector of weights and measures from the state. That you need to. Power connection, your factory needs power, electricity, so you need to take it from the officer of the state electricity board. Then employee strength exceeding 10 with power or 20 without power from chief inspector of factories. So you need to take this permission as well. Environmental pollution related clearances. So non-objection certificate, NOC, which we people call, that has to be taken. From the State Pollution Control Board, and before the commencement of the business, and that has to be taken. Then industry requiring water and effluent disposal, waste disposal. That also, for that you are supposed to take NOC from the State Pollution Control Board before commencement of the business. Then registration and license for boilers, if there are any boilers where you are boiling up your products or any perishable, non-perishable products, you are supposed to take it from the chief inspector of boilers are required. Then for registration for export oriented units, if you want to take any export oriented business, if you have, you need to take it from an EOU registration also from the Development Commissioner of Export Processing Zones. And quality certifications, you need, if you are acquainted with the quality certifications, you are supposed to take quality certifications. Becomes important, you need to take it with ISO certification. These are few which you need to take as a part and parcel of your aspects. So the third one is your formalities. The third point is your formalities, legal formalities. Legal formalities stands first. Get a permit, get a business permit and license. The first thing that you need to take is get a permit, license and permit. Register the business. You need to register the business in appropriate name, appropriate form. So, and like type of company, partner is starting, we are starting in a partnership firm, and all those legal formalities are required. Then get air, noise and water pollution permit. I repeat, get air, noise and water pollution permit, so that your factory is not being hindered by any other these things. Apply for import and export licenses in future if you are importing from goods from outside and exporting to other countries. Then enter into the necessary agreements with the supplier, that is your tenders, quotations with the supplier. Enter into the lease agreement if you are going for a lease business. All those things will be here in the formalities. Then licensing. Licensing is you need, starting up a business, you need licensing. So that licensing might be technical licensing, you might require a trademark licensing, and you might require a copyright licensing. So your technological licensing is required to for the aspects of technically registering the company with updated technology, what you will be using. Softwares which you will be using for your PCs should be illegally updated, bounded. So that will be one. Then copyrights, you need to see that your products are your punchlines, your taglines, your design, your logo, your objective shouldn't be copied, so it should be copyrighted, and shouldn't allow the other people to access your all these things pretty quickly. You need to take the copyrights as well, and patents, which we people call, and trademarks, that is your punchlines and all. You need also to be considering those aspects. So these are your few with with the aspects of the licensing. The other two which are there, we need to dig deep into that. So this video, what I have just done now is that we have just understood, make you to understand what do we do for licensing and all. So we have covered up 4 points so far. The first one is location for business, what we took. Second one, we understood about the clearances and permit. Third one which we understood was licensing, and the fourth one which we understood was formalities. So in the next aspect what we'll be discussing will be about the 2 more registration procedure of a small scale industry, and feasibility report will be taking up in the next video. Okay, please go through this video very carefully. If you don't understand, you can ask me. We can have an online class once the network gets connected properly, so that we'll have a interactive session with this. Due to that lack of strong network, I'm unable to put up an online show today. Thank you.